Good morning and welcome to the very start of Hadrian's Wall, and just behind the railings here is Segedunum, which is the Roman fort right at the very eastern end of Hadrian's Wall itself. And just as I pass here, look, there's a little bit of a wall here, and if I run up onto the bank, they've marked out the very edge of all the buildings. It's really quite cool. So it was garrisoned for about 300 years, from 122 AD up to about 400 AD. And as I say, it marks the very start of Hadrian's Wall path, which is a national trail, and it runs for 84 miles in that direction, all the way to Bowness on Solway in Cumbria. So on the very edge of Segedunum Roman fort is a reconstructed Roman bathhouse, I think this is. What's really impressive is that it's got that lovely whitewash, and I think all Roman buildings or posh ones had that amazing whitewash to them. It's just a shame that actually we can't go in. I had a look online and I think it says the museum's actually closed at the moment, which is a bit of a bummer, but that is very cool. We've just taken this tiny little detour off the trail to come and have a look at these awesome Roman baths, and the reconstructed one is just up there, the white building you can see up here. They haven't reconstructed it in the same place. This is where the original bathhouse would have been, quite close to the River Tyne, just over there. So far, a lot of the trail has actually just been this sort of tarmac path, which I think looks like it would have been an old tram line or an old railway line. I haven't found any information about it, but there's a few traces of sort of old railway lines and stuff like that along the edge. And considering we're in the city centre pretty much, it's been quite green. Look at this. A nice kind of meadow area, lots of trees. There's been lots and lots of bird life, which is really nice, but a constant rumble of industrial units on both sides. And I think shortly, hopefully, we're going to be heading along the river. thankfully we got a little bit of a break in the weather, and we took a little detour off to see the Norman Castle, which is Grade 1 listed and dates to 1177 and built of this awesome kind of sandstone. It's lovely. What's cool is now that I've got a wonderful view looking right down back into the city of Newcastle, and all of these bridges just jutting out across the River Tyne, and most of these are actually listed, and one of them, which I think is this, not the blue one right near me, but the one behind that, is Grade 1 listed, and a lot of them date to the Industrial Revolution. Really incredible to see so many bridges going across the river. So let's talk a little bit about the history of Hadrian's Wall. So we know it was built, or it started in 122 AD by Emperor Hadrian, and it was designed to stop sort of the marauding Scots from the north and sort of control this area and the very edge of the Roman frontier. And then about 20 years later, they actually tried to push further north and then built the Antonine Wall, which is north of Glasgow. And I think it's only about 50 or 60 miles long. So that one was built from turf with a wooden palisade, and that one couldn't keep back the Scots, so they actually fell back to where Hadrian's Wall is, and that remained the northern frontier of the Roman Empire from then on. Quick stop for a lunch break.
And plaster break.
Plastering up the feet. Got some rubbing feet at the moment.
I don't know why, because they never rub, but today they are.
Today they are. Sun is out. We just had about an hour of solid rain, and now it's lovely. Sorry? We're just in the tiny village of Leamington, which is on the edge of the city of Newcastle. And there's this awesome building over here, and this is called Leamington Cone, which dates to 1787 and is Grade 2 star listed. And it was actually built as part of the Northumberland Glass Works. So I think it might have been some kind of massive chimney or something like that. So we're just down at Tyne Riverside Country Park, and although we saw quite a lot of people a few minutes ago, it's actually nice and empty now, and there are so many birds about. It's lovely, and some fantastic views across the river as well. This actually was a battle site during the Napoleonic War, and there's a little marker on the map that says 1640 and a couple of cross swords, which means that's the location of a battle site. And there's actually some information boards there as well if anyone's interested, and you can have a read about the history. But now we're following the river, and that's going to take us through some countryside now up to Heddon-on-the-Wall, and that is the end of the first day along the Hadrians Wall path. We're only about a mile or so from Heddon-on-the-Wall now, and there's a little sting just at the end of this day because you're on the flat for miles and miles, like 14 miles I think, and then the last mile is all uphill, and you've got about 100 meters, which is like 330 feet to go up, and we're now on our way up there through the woods. Golf course on either side, so just be careful. It's just really nice to finally be out in the countryside. I think the last 5 miles or so has been far more rural than the first part. It's probably the most urban walk I've ever done in my life. But all reports say it's the worst section of the entire walk. And if that's the worst bit, then I am very excited about the rest. Such cracking views just as we enter Heddon. Look across to those hills over there. Absolutely beautiful. So we've just arrived at Heddon-on-the-Wall and taken this little detour to come and touch this awesome section of Hadrian's Wall. And this is called the Broad Wall, and that is because this section, well, the entire of Hadrian's Wall was supposed to be about 3 meters thick, but then to save time and resources, they actually made it a bit thinner further down. But this is the longest surviving section of Broad Wall along the entire Hadrian's Wall. And it's just amazing to think that this is 1,900 years old, and there's just, I can touch it, it's right here, and this went across the entire country. It's so exciting to see an original part of the wall. We haven't seen anything since the Roman fort right at the start, because obviously we've been following the river, but from here on it is just following the wall all the way to the Cumbrian coast.